How's it going, guys? Today we're going to be doing a different type of video. Today we're going to be doing a tier list and ranking of all the Borderlands games as of right now. I've been playing these games for 5 whole years, so I have a lot of knowledge on these games and I've played them a lot. I also have a different perspective on these games because I didn't start at Borderlands 1. The first game I played was Borderlands 2. And I was even late to that game. I don't think this one is going to surprise anyone, but I think my least favorite game in the series is probably New Tales from the Borderlands. I haven't played this game yet. I'm going to, but I have seen the story and I've seen bits and pieces. Apparently there's like an Infinity Gauntlet type of thing. It's not really what I want from a Borderlands story. I don't know why they didn't just continue Tales, New Tales, or not New Tales, but Tales from the Borderlands. I like that game a lot, and I don't understand how they failed so hard in this game. So I'm going to put this at D, because I don't think any game here is an F, because it's playable. But, you know what, comparatively, I think it's an F. After this, the games start getting good. I might get a lot of flack for this one, but I think number 6, I'm going to choose the pre-sequel. It's not a bad game, but it's the game I have the least amount of time in. At least one that's the one you can shoot in. I just didn't really like this game because of the no dedicated farming that really killed it for me. So it's a good game. Like, I love the stuff they added, like the O2 kits and the ground pound and the laser guns. Like, that was really cool. But I don't think, like, the fact that it doesn't get 4 DLCs is kind of crazy to me, because I feel like it felt more like a mainline game than Wonderlands. So it should have got 4 DLCs. I know 2K Australia shut down. Rest in peace. But I think the pre-sequel to me is kind of a miss. Like, it had so much potential and they kind of just missed. They had other DLCs plans. I don't know why 2K didn't just continue work on this game, because this game had a whole lot of potential. Next off on my list, we have Tales from the Borderlands. Oh my goodness, did I love this game. This game was like, I was like waiting for Borderlands 3 because I had played Borderlands 2 a lot, and then I didn't even know Tales from the Borderlands was a thing until I saw it on the Xbox store, and I was like, oh my goodness, I got to buy this. So I bought it, and I realized that you have to buy all of the chapters because I had never played a Tales game, like a Telltale game. And I realized you have to buy all the chapters, and as a 14-year-old, I had no money to buy the chapters, so I decided to watch a Jacksepticeye playlist on it, and I kind of fell in love with all the characters like Reese. And I think this also had some more potential, at least in future games, if we could see the characters in future games, like we saw Reese. But I want to see different characters from Tales, like we saw Vaughn too. But like, where's Sloterbot? So that's how I feel about that game. I really like the story, and I think that it's one of the best games in the series. So I guess I have an opposite of a bias on this one. Borderlands 1, I like it. Like, I've played through it once, I think. But it's also one of my least played Borderlands, because I guess it's hard for me to go back from Borderlands 2 to Borderlands 1 and play it, because Borderlands 2 is so good. And I understand this is where they came from. This is where it all started. But I feel like as if I don't play it that as much. I like the game, don't get me wrong, like, it's a really good game. But it's just not my favorite. Because, again, I started on Borderlands 2. So I didn't play Borderlands until it was like probably 10 years old. Or like 6 years old, or whatever. I don't really know. But I like the game, but it's just not really something I go back to a lot. And talking about lost potential, Wonderlands. Oh my goodness, when I tell you I was excited for this game, I was so excited. Like, I stayed up all night waiting for it to come out. I had a timer on my phone. It's actually, the timer's still on my phone, but it's like at 12:30 or something for Wonderlands to come out. I was really excited, and it was really good when it first came out. Like, I remember liking it when it first came out. And then the Chaos Chambers started getting worse and worse. You had to do more and more. And going through the Chaos Chambers is very repetitive. And what also killed this game the most for me is the DLCs. The fact that I'm paying for that is crazy because Borderlands 3, they had a bunch of free content. We were kind of spoiled with the free content, with the Malawan takedown and stuff, but Wonderlands had paid content that was worse than Malawan takedown. I understand that it had a lower budget, but also, like, it's just not what I wanted, and the loot luck system kind of ruined it for me too. The no dedicated drops, which should not be a problem to Borderlands because that is literally the main staple of the game. So I know they're making a Wonderlands 2, so hopefully they take all our feedback and change it. Now the moment you've all been waiting for. Do I like Borderlands 2 or Borderlands 3 more? This is kind of hard for me for a main reason, like you'll understand. But I think my favorite game, my second favorite game, will have to be Borderlands 3. I think I really love this game for a few main reasons. I think the story is not that good, but the DLCs are really good. Like the DLC story is like really good. But what drags this game down the most is the replayability of the main story. And also why I have a soft spot for this game is because this game is how I met one of my best friends. When Malawan Takedown first came out, there's this gun called the Redistributor. It was one of the best guns in the game for Zane. So I put in my PlayStation community and I was like, hey, I need a Redistributor. And this guy that I met, I'm not gonna say his name obviously, but he had a Redistributor and he texted me, he was like, hey, I have a Redistributor, I joined his game. He was like, hey, do you want to do Malawan Takedown together? And I was like, yeah, sure. And then we've been best friends ever since. So, and we've even met in person. So I think this Borderlands 3 just has a really soft spot in my heart for, I've met a lot of people on that game and it kind of inspired me to do content of my own. So I owe this game a lot. Last but not least, Borderlands 2. This game was my first game in the franchise, so obviously that instantly gives it some bias. But I think what I love most about this game is just the replayability and the fact that it's just, honestly, I know a whole bunch more about that game. Like, I can do a run without looking anything up. Honestly, the reason I found Borderlands 2 is crazy, because it's literally, if I didn't break my arm, I wouldn't have found the game. So what happened was, if you ever seen the Karate Kid, there's a thing called a crane kick where Mr. Miyagi is on a post and he's doing the crane kick, and I decided to try that as a kid at my sister's dance recital. I failed miserably and I had to go to the hospital and I broke my arm. A few weeks later, summer started and my sisters wanted to go swim at my sister's boyfriend's house. I obviously couldn't swim because I had a cast on. So he was like, hey, you can play Xbox 360. And I looked through the game and I saw the cover of Borderlands 2. And I was just like, ooh, that game looks cool. So I popped it in. I started in this frozen wasteland. There's this funny little goofy robot talking about sphincters. And I was obviously 13 at the time. So I was like, this game is like really funny. And then I started getting a bunch of loot. And there's like a bazillion guns. So I'm like, this game is like the coolest game of all time. So, and also I wouldn't have played if it wasn't for Borderlands 2. I probably wouldn't have played Borderlands 3. So the fact that it was just the luck of the draw is crazy to me. So would you rank any of these differently? If so, please tell me in the comments. If you liked the video, please hit that like button and subscribe. Thank you.